There's this big problems in the black community, and I see this all the time, and I hear it on certain YouTube channels, and people do not black people. I'm talking to black people now. I'm not talking about any other group of people. Black people will always make excuses, will always find ways to not take responsibility for what they have done. They will always sit there and blame everybody else but them. And I'm gonna bring some examples because, I'm gonna bring examples because of I'm gonna talk about George Zimmerman. George Zimmerman killed Trayvon Martin. George Zimmerman got off. Why did George Zimmerman get off? George Zimmerman raised over millions of dollars for his defense. He did. And who raised that? And who, the majority of those, probably all of them, were white folks. They raised his money for defense. When Darren Wilson killed Michael Brown, his supporters came out in unison and raised money. They didn't have a problem. They didn't care if he was guilty. They raised money, they supported him, and they did not charge him. And he raised a lot of money. But when we do something or get accused of doing anything, we can't raise anything. It's like when you ask black people to support each other and raise money for a black person who is wrongfully accused of committing a crime. Oh, we don't want to do anything. Oh, we can't do that. Why should I raise money for you? What is this money going to? There's always questions. There's always the third degree. And that's the problem. We don't want to support each other. We always want to question where the money is going. But when other groups of people like white folks, when they do it, hey, yeah, we're going to raise money. We're going to give you the best legal team out there. Okay. And it goes for the saying of the YouTube, because certain people ask you to support them on Patreon. Y'all don't even want to support people on Patreon. Y'all have an issue. It's like black people don't want to support each other, and no wonder why we are in the state that we're in. Because the lie out there is that, oh, black people don't have any money. Black people got plenty of money. They got plenty of money. When you're going out there buying Jordans, when you're going out there buying Xbox Ones and everything like that, $400 pair of shoes, and you're going to sit there and talk about you don't have Jordans? I don't want to hear that nonsense. We just don't want to support nobody. We don't want to support nothing. And that's the problem. Okay, it's not that black people don't have any money, because we black people have it. Because we have a 1.2 million trillion dollar spending thing, but money doesn't stay in our community in less than 24 hours, and that's a problem. Because we're supporting money and giving it to everybody else, but we're not supporting each other and putting money back into into our community, building schools, building rebuilding the neighborhoods. Okay, it's not white folks' fault that black people aren't supporting each other. That's our own. Because we think that the white man's house is better. We think the white man's stuff is better. and we have less value in our own stuff, but we will go support somebody else's stuff. And to me, that's where we have to stop. Another example, when it comes to women and men, there's a lot of single mothers out there that are having babies 19, 20 years old. And I'm looking at these women, and they're sitting there saying it's the white man's fault. I can't get a job. I can't get on welfare. Well, wait a minute. Why are you having babies in the first place? If you're not married, if you don't have and not in a steady relationship, why are you sitting there going out there having a baby? And then you'll sit there and say, well, I thought he was the one. I didn't know he was like that. You thought. If that man isn't willing to marry you, or if that man isn't willing to commit to you, at the end of the day, you shouldn't be having no children. Okay? And women have to know how to pick better. And men have to, I'm going to get to the men too, because the men's coming. Men have to know how to be men. We have a lot of men out here that are grown but don't know how to be a man. They will sit there, their feelings will get hurt with every little thing you say. If you criticize them, they're ready to go off on you. They don't know how to take constructive criticism. Okay? You got a lot of feminized men out here. Okay? That will let anybody, a white racist person, punk them and they won't do anything. And it's sad. They will let racist white people disrespect and call women out of their name. And black men or some teenagers will sit there and they will laugh and they will sit there and look dumbfounded. It is sickening. It is sickening. That's what it is. To me, I can't deal with it. But we want to go around, we want to blame white people for everything that's wrong with us. And then there's another thing I'm going to say. When it comes to protesting, when it comes to outrage, when a savage person in our community kills somebody, you rarely hear any outrage. You might hear it for a day, but people go on about their business. A white person does it. They're ready to tear up the city. They're ready to tear down the city. But why don't you have that outrage when you have a savage in your own community coming out there and hurting your own? Yeah, you might have vigils out there and everything like that. I'm not saying that black people don't care, but you don't see the outrage as when a white person does it. Okay, we need these men to step up and say, you know what, we're not going to have this problem. We're not going to have this problem in our community. If anybody tries to take out their own, to hurt us, we're going to deal with them. But you don't see that. Back in the day, you would have saw some of that. Back in the day, if anybody shot, if gang members, if anybody hurt a child, that person would have been dealt with. Now, this day and age, you shoot anybody. A child gets killed, a 14-year-old girl gets killed. Nothing's being done. Everybody's quiet. Oh, I'm not going to snitch. I'm going to let that person roam the streets, hurting everybody else. Black people, we need to wake up. Yeah, there's race. We need to wake up. I get that there's racism out there, and I'm totally against racism. And if I see racism, I'm going to speak out against it. But I'm not going to talk about racism in every single video. We need to know how to do things for ourselves, create businesses, create opportunities. You got people out there that got expensive $35,000, $40,000 cars, but living in rundown neighborhoods. I've seen it all the time. How can you afford a decent car, but your house or your apartment needs repairs, or your house's apartment is in ruins, and you driving a Jaguar, or you driving a Bentley? Let's get our act together. That's all I have to say. For more videos, subscribe to this YouTube channel.